Boom. What's going on, guys? Energy News Beat episode number 162 here on this gorgeous Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. As always, I'm your humble correspondent, Michael Tanner, coming to you from an undisclosed location here in Denver, Colorado, joined by the executive producer of the show, the purveyor of the show, and the director and publisher of the world's greatest website, oilandgas360.com, Stuart Turley. How you doing today? It's a great day.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I can still survive any zombie apocalypse thrown at us, and we have a big show.
We have a great show for you guys lined up. We'll cover everything that happened on the crude oil inventory side. We'll hold the funeral for offshore leases. Hurricane season absolutely whacked Gulf of Mexico. Stu's going to guest host in a U.S. shale story. Alaska's got a project in question we'll cover. Stu's also got some very interesting things, international news. We'll cover everything on the equities markets today. But first, guys, just subscribe to this YouTube channel, Oil and Gas 360/Anarcom. We really appreciate all the support. Hit that pesky notifications button, and you'll know every time we drop one of these episodes, usually between 1 and 2 p.m. On the U.S. Equity side, it's kind of a choppy day. You know, as we're speaking right now, it's about 12:30. Stocks actually have just all rolled south. They were sort of mixed. SPY was up about 0.25 percentage point early in the day after some really interesting Pfizer news. The fact that now that instead of 90% effectiveness, it's now up at 95% effectiveness. The reason part of why stocks opened specifically high was the Dow Jones, largest component, Boeing, the 737 MAX. Remember that crash, Stu? Well, the FAA's re-cleared it. Next trip out here to Denver, you're going to be you going to put yourself on a MAX?
No, neither am I getting it. No, I'm not getting a vaccine either. So
you're going to get a vaccine before you get on the 737 MAX. I think that cancels each other out, right?
It does.
That kind of juju does. But, indices are really rolling south. Futures markets have turned over as we move into the later part here. And again, that's just because COVID-19 cases, 157,000. That's, we have a rolling average now over 150,000 over the last 5 days. So it's just unbelievable. We've surpassed 2 million cases, whether or not you believe or are a big proponent in cases. It's what's driving the market right now, and that's what things are rolling over. It doesn't affect the crude oil markets, though. They're up 1.1 percentage points off vaccine news. I mean, really, regardless of whether or not the equities markets are taking into effect all of this bearish fundamental news, the crude oil markets are saying, nope, we are bull all the way, 41.91. It was all the way up to 42.50 early in the session. Crude oil inventories come out and are, fairly neutral, so it doesn't really move the market. So, sentiment is on the vaccine side that it's good for crude oil. Back into the curve, 43.90, 39, $2.70 for natural gas. They're up about 0.75 percentage point. Back into the curve, though, basically down 0.25 percentage points. So not much movement. XOP was up 1.3 percentage points. OIH up 2 percentage points. Equities markets down, but XOP and OIH up. It's a great time to be an energy investor, I guess. Not really, but it's just funny when we have these days like this where, hey, there was money we made day trading equities today. Tom Gap probably had himself a day. On the downside, Natural Resource Partners, they're down 6 percentage points. Abrejos, they're down 6 percentage points. Goodrich Petroleum, friends of the show, not good day. They're down 10 percentage points today. 11.58 though, but good. Their stock price has been, has actually been seeing some appreciation, considering they're in natural gas. I am a fan long term of what they've got going on. On the upside, CDEV up 13 percentage points. QEP up 16 percentage points. High Point Resources up 20%, and Valco Energy up 28 percentage points. I wonder what this list looks like. Before we dive into the U.S., before we dive into the international news desk, guys, this show is powered by Data Gumbo. We love these guys. They have an award-winning technology company that has customers all around the world who build and manage and automate their own smart contracts. Data Gumbo smart contracts offer a new approach to commercial relationships, one that reduces friction, delivers streamlined operations, transactional certainty, and cost savings. Every transaction is accurate and certain and touchless, automated, and powered via the Gumbo Net. Check them out. Everything Data Gumbo, www.datagumbo.com. Stu, what's on the international news desk today?
Hey, dude, my arms are tired from flying around the world here. First stop is in China. You and I have talked about storage being bloatware and more storage coming up.
Yep.
China is now asking, I think this is funny, communist China is asking capitalists to jump in and pay for storage. So maybe our show needs to get into storage in China. Here's a couple little nuggets in this article. The article's China's buying oil binge to run on 2021 as tank operators and refiners sign up. Holy cow, Batman, we are going to be talking about storage.
So what you're telling me is that a communist country needs help from capitalism? Oh man, I haven't seen this story before.
No. Whoa. Okay. Private refiners and
Hot take.
storage operators. Huh?
Hot take of the day.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. You're bugging me now. Okay, private refiners and storage operators put about another 100 million barrels of new tanks to use in 2021. Holy smokes, that's a lot of new tanks, dude. Um, you know, never mind. I got a joke, but I was going to leave that alone.
It's
Okay.
probably smart. It's really interesting what China is doing, specifically because I mean, what the interesting part is we've never, they're buying oil at a time when global oil stocks are at an all-time high, and in the face of that, crude oil is appreciating. You would think if they were going to be doing all of this buying, they're expecting a lower price, hopefully get themselves a premium. That's the interesting part that just I found interesting about this story. If they're buying oil in the short term, it seems like oil's, at least in the short term, is fairly bullish.
You got
Paying
it.
more per barrel.
You got it right on the nose, and that is one of the key reasons all this is coming up is because of the arbitrage opportunities and the throttling up when all these tankers huddle up at the offload facilities. They can't get them offloaded fast enough. So that's why all this storage is coming into play, is they want to be able to buy cheap and more. So
But it's kind of
here
backfiring on them, isn't it? Oil, right? If you're buying oil right now, it's appreciating.
Yes, but here's the thing. Our oil and gas 360 satellite in the sky, we have got this bad dog circled out so that we can watch the growth opportunities and we can see where our tanker that we buy is
Got
going to need.
satellites now, people. It's unbelievable. We started as just me live streaming on Zoom. We've got satellites now. How far we've come in 162
absolutely. So here we go. Okay, I'm done with that one. Moving to the next. Qatar Gas delivers the first Q-Max cargo. It's kind of funny you're putting me on some damn airplane that's
with a vaccine that you'll have a third arm from.
Yeah, okay. Well, here is the Q-Max ship. Take a look at that bad dog.
Woo!
It is the largest LNG tanker out there. Let me read you some stats. Oh, by the way, China is taking delivery of this LNG from Qatar.
Of course they are.
This terminal is owned and operated by the China Petroleum and Chemical Corporation, China's largest state-owned enterprises. The terminal has a capacity of 6 million tons, and it's currently being expanded to 10.8 by 2022. China has a total of 22 LNG receiving terminals, including 3 small scale, 11 of which can support the QMAX. Holy cow, Batman. They can support 11 of these bad dog tankers that are like you could land 6 or 7 airplanes on. Good grief.
Yeah, those are aircraft carriers. And so that, I mean, the world's moving to LNG. It's pretty unbelievable.
All right. Hey, the next one coming up is we believe in being good stewards of our planet, getting power to all of the people. We have over about 1.3 billion people that need power. Let's get everybody out of poverty. Okay, that being said, here's some poor elk. They're standing here and they're kind of going, huh? Conversation groups sued to halt ConocoPhillips oil press project in Alaska.
Wow, that was we'll give you a reshoot on that one. Give me that again. Dude. Conservationists are shutting down some pipeline.
Yes, they're trying to slow it down. Let me give you some nuggets in here. I love Alaska, by the way. I've gotten way too close to some wild grizz, and that is not fun.
You have showed me a picture of some bears that you take yourself. It's unbelievable. I've never been to Alaska. I've heard it's absolutely gorgeous, though.
I'd move there in a heartbeat. Yeah, my wife wants me to move there. Bureau of Land Management says the project could produce up to 160,000 barrels per day or daily, or 600 million barrels over 30 years. It would help the revenue in Alaska, but it did not have a good study done. So that means number three that we got to have is we got to take care of our environment. You can't just run out and do things without doing environmental checks. So I'm all about oil. I'm all about energy, but let's take care of them poor caribou. If you can see on the Oil and Gas 360 website, there's a little baby one going, mommy. So you got to take care of them caribous.
Rudolph's about to be needing to be delivered gifts recently, so we need to hurry up and get that on. So here, sorry, but as we move over to the U.S. shale side, let's look at crude oil storage for November 13th. Up 800,000 barrels, which is slightly bearish, considering the fact that it would be nice to see a draw moving up. Markets reacted slightly bullish to it, even though I think when you look at some of the numbers, I think it's fairly bearish. A number I did really like, though, 77.4% operating capacity for refineries, which is really good. Gasoline production, decreased distillate fuel production, increased last week. Crude oil imports were 5.3 million barrels, which decreased by 245,000. So really a mixed bag when we look at what happened on the crude oil inventory side. It didn't really do much to prices. I said, guys, it's up about 1 percentage point right now, currently trading about 41.87. Next story that we have, we've held all of these, we've held funerals for all of our deceased Chapter 11 bankruptcies. We officially have to hold the funeral for offshore oil leases, with the final one being scheduled later this December. Moment of silence, please. All right, that was fun. Unfortunately, it's sad though. This one actually is sad because of a couple reasons. One, there's 78 million acres being sold off here. It's off the coast of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. To give you an idea, they're setting up a 10-year lease for all of these leases. But let's give you an idea. There's hundreds of thousands of jobs could be lost, is what the industry is saying here. They have a little energy paper. I mean, they're looking at 100,000 jobs over the 10-year lease life cycle and billions in lost government revenue. Are those numbers a little inflated? Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know if we're going to have 100,000 jobs over 10 years to be lost, but there's a huge chunk of jobs that are going to be lost, and there's a huge chunk of revenue from a thing that we're already doing. So, this is something that as we move forward into the new Biden administration, we're going to look for. I hope it does. If people are prepping for this, it's what we held the funeral. It looks like I'll be interested to see if they actually go through with it. But we'll see here. I don't like this move. We need to be, as Stu said, we need to be producing as much domestic oil as we can to wean ourselves off just all of the shenanigans that are going on in the international space. So I think hopefully this is a policy we'll see a change. I doubt though. Really, the key though is what comes down to fracking. But we'll cover that in a later show. Hurricane season, the last story we kind of ran on the news desk here was, if you're following the show for any number of months here, you understand that every other week it seems like we got a new hurricane. I don't even want to read them all off. Last August, or this August, Laura and Marco, which were the two biggest ones, caused over 1.2 million barrels of crude oil production to be shut down, which is the most amount of decrease in crude oil production from Gulf of Mexico since August 2008, height of the stock market bubble, housing bubble, in the midst of one of the largest recessions we've ever had. That's the last time we saw oil production drop. Unbelievable what's happened to hurricane season. I mean, you want to talk about billions lost. There's some money right there. There's at least, we're talking about now 30 million barrels times, probably $15. I mean, there's some revenue left on the table right there that these companies would have liked to have, regardless of what the oil price was. So, we're keeping our friends in Gulf of Mexico out there. I actually know a couple of people working on the rigs right now. Shout out Brady Smith. Hope everything's well. Keeping us producing our wells offshore. It'd be a crazy job. I've actually never been to an offshore rig. I'd love to get. Can we do a little field trip? If anybody's listening, you can hook up with a field trip for us. I'm down.
We got to do a story out there. I mean,
let's go. From an undisclosed location in the middle of nowhere, Gulf of Mexico.
We owe ourselves vacation.
I would love it. Stu, do we miss anything on the show today?
I don't know. I don't know if you can see my bear here. See it? Look at that. that
You
was one of
shot
my
that by
bears.
yourself, right? That you took that photo.
Yeah. I only hunt bears. Look at that. I only hunt bears with cameras. So anyway,
Yeah. So with that, guys, on that lovely note, we're gonna go and get out of here. Let you guys get back to work, finish up your day. For Stuart Turley, I'm Michael Tannen. Thank you for checking us out on the world's greatest website, www.oilandgas360.com. We will see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Energy News Beat. Until then.